Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
I'm very hopeful because we have the best team in the world. They're working around the clock, and they're using every possible tool, the sonar, the dogs, their world experience, and I know that they are hopeful, and so we are hopeful as well.
I mean, what more do you say after seeing that thing collapse yesterday? That's the mayor, Daniela Lefine-Cava, talking about the hopefulness of what they think they may find. Because at this point in time, you know, the number, I told you yesterday, right? Like, we came off the air, it was one person dead, potentially 50 people missing. This morning, it was one dead, 99 missing. Then it changed to 4 dead, 159 missing, 150 missing, not quite sure. It's a horrible situation. And then everybody, of course, the thing is, how? How did this happen? What is this? Is this potentially a situation where it is terrorism? Was this? No, it wasn't. I think at the end of the day, you've built in an area that's sand. You know, I was talking to somebody a little bit earlier about we have a guy here that's a wildfire expert. Obviously, it's hot out here. We've got a lot of wildfires. I think we have about 70% of the wildfires in the country are going on right now in Arizona. And he said, "What do you think happened?" I said, "Let me tell you something, man." I said, "You're building next to an ocean on sand. What do you think happened?" I mean, you could try to do some stuff, but at the end of the day, we have put ourselves in situations. People talk about, oh, did you guys know that it's getting worse and worse with the hurricanes and the destruction? No, it's not. People didn't live places like that 100 years ago. Our want to live in a place that aesthetically is pleasing has forced us to build something in places that are close to places where there's erosion and shifts. And the other thing is Florida sinks holes everywhere. At least once a month, there's a big sinkhole video. And once or twice a year, some business gets swallowed by a sinkhole. That's what happens there. This is going to take more than a few days. But as far as foul play?
At this time, they haven't found any evidence of foul play. So that is important for people to know. Of course, it's not ruled out. Nothing's ruled out. But at this point, nothing to indicate that. So
that's where we are. A horrible situation. They've got cadaver dogs there. They are doing the best that they can. And would I be surprised if they found a person or two still alive? No. And it'll be a fluid situation. It will be days and days and days before they figure out exactly what truly happened and how many people are missing, because somebody could have been visiting. Their family members don't know that person was at somebody's house. Maybe they that's where their boyfriend lives or their girlfriend lives, or they'd met somebody as a party, met somebody, or they went over to visit their friends and hang out and play Xbox and dinner party, drank a little too much. We hung out and we won't know. It will be a few days. And again, a tragic situation. I think everybody understands that. But just seeing that and then the aftermath of it, I think you're starting to realize, wow. And if you're in the buildings next to it, you got to be asking yourself a question. Get somebody here. We want to make sure that can't happen here. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Can I just say I found this weird? So you guys saw this? Listen to this, and I don't get into it much. You know, there's a lot of people out there that get into the mental side of things when it comes to Joe Biden. And I know he's trying to make some sort of points yesterday, but I was watching this and I thought to myself, man, that's weird. He's giving this speech and then he starts to go into the whisper mode.
I got them $1.9 trillion relief so far. They're going to be getting checks in the mail that are consequential. I wrote the bill on the environment. Pay them more. This is an employees bargaining chip now. What's happening?
It was just odd. And again, I don't get into his his mental side of things. Do I think he's as fast as he used to be? No, I do not. Do I think he is a person that is as sharp as he was? No. As you age, you're gonna forget things. Let's be real. You're not gonna be as sharp. I mean, it happens. Father Time, the last time I checked, is undefeated. Okay? Tom Brady is eventually not going to be Tom Brady. At some point in time, he's not going to be what we thought he was, what we knew he was. We thought, well, he's got another year in him. Father Time will catch up. And the same thing happens at times mentally. You're not as sharp as you used to be. But some of the stuff at times is, and then during all of this, he had to be reminded, hey, you should probably say something about Miami and the whole thing. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. And all this was because, again, he's out there. He's very popular right now. He's got the infrastructure stuff happening. He's got a lot of stuff. But there's times when I step back and I say, why are you whispering? Why are you whispering? And I'm not a Biden basher. I know there's a lot of people out there that are Biden bashers. Not me. But I did find it to be bizarre. I did find it to be bizarre. Just, oh my God, I got him this much money. Did you guys know this? There was big news yesterday, though. Actually, some stuff was done in politics. I know it's weird that they got stuff done. And it's not as weird as you think, because the stuff that doesn't get done a lot of times in politics is the stuff that is big in the news but has very little to do with everyday things. Infrastructure, though, is big and getting close to having a true deal. Now, I always say until it's signed, until it's a done deal, because you never know what may happen between now and then. And as a person who'd been in sales for a long time, as growing up, and I was trying to support myself when I was doing comedy and voiceovers, and you never, like, I got a sale today. Did they cash the check? No, don't. Until he signs it, it's dried ink. You don't say for certain, but it feels good.
The fact is, investment in jobs and infrastructure have often had bipartisan support in the past. Matter of fact, when I first got to the United States Senate, it was probably the least difficult thing to do, is pass infrastructure plans. But even so, it's been a very long time since the last time our country was able to strike a major bipartisan deal on American infrastructure, which is so badly needed, I might add. We devoted far too much energy to competing with one another and not nearly enough energy competing with the rest of the world to win the 21st century.
Yeah. You know, Reagan, I think Reagan has said is, imagine the things that we could get done if nobody needed to have the credit. Something like that, right? Because everybody wants credit. Usually I get scared when there's something's bipartisan. And the reason is simple. If something's bipartisan, it usually means that they're spending our money. They agreed to overspend the taxpayers' money. They agreed to overspend. But we desperately need, and it's weird because infrastructure, obviously 20, 30 years ago, we were talking about roads, or we're talking about dams, this is the need for high-speed internet. How many kids fell behind? Out here in Arizona, there were kids who essentially lost a year and a half of school because where they lived, there was no internet, high speed. I do not have high-speed internet where I live the way that I would like it. And thank goodness people like Elon Musk are around, because they shot those satellites up for Starlink, so I'm able to get some stuff in a decent way. But where I live, there are kids who, because I live out in the Valley of Dirt People, I'm fortunate enough that I could spend more money than the average person to get good internet, but it's still not great comparatively. And I don't live 1,000 miles from now. I'm not in the outback, although at times it feels like it. Those things matter. Bipartisan usually scares me, and it should scare you too, because they're spending our money.
But it's a big deal. This agreement is going to create new financing authority that's going to leverage private capital and infrastructure and clean energy projects. It'll provide folks with good paying jobs that can't be outsourced. Neither side got everything they wanted in this deal. That's what it means to compromise. It reflects consensus. The heart of democracy requires consensus. And this time a true bipartisan effort breaking the ice that too often has kept us frozen in place, prevented us from solving the real problems facing the American people.
Yeah. And that's what compromise is. What do? I have an agent, and when my contracts are up, they go and they talk to people, and everybody's got the must-haves and everybody's got the wants, right? These are things I must have. These are things I'd want. The other people say, well, these are the things we must have, and this is our wants. And most of the time, you'll get your must-haves, or you'll go elsewhere. And every once in a while, you'll get most of your must-haves, but you'll get a few of your wants. $110 billion for roads, bridges, safety, $11 billion, public transport, $50 billion, passenger freight rail, $66 billion. That should make Phil so excited. Here's something, though, $65 billion for broadband infrastructure. A lot of good stuff here. Water storage in the West, $5 billion, should have been 10. So there's a lot of good things in here, but that's what compromise looks like. That's what it looks like. And in a world where we don't allow compromise because we have too many people who are all about doing what? Making sure you don't deal with the other side. The fact that they came together, the likes of Manchin, in particular, Kyrsten Sinema, they're spending $1 trillion. But it's $1 trillion that we need because we have too many issues here. The big takeaway from this should be simply this. They got something done together. That's it. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Kamala Harris going to the border today. Everybody's like, why is she going to El Paso? I'm like, because it's the closest place that she can land, get out, drive somewhere really quick, right? Take a quick picture, talk to Beto O'Rourke, get back in her airplane, fly back to D.C. She doesn't want to come to Yuma. She doesn't want to go to Tucson. She wants to make it quick, and leave. That's it. She didn't want anything else. But she's going there today, so that'll be interesting. And the UFO report today's the day. It had to be done and dusted and put out there. What will we get? What potentially is in it? I'm excited. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program, Raycon, best earbuds around. Let me tell you about Raycon. So you go to buyraycon.com/Chad. Simple and easy. All right? We don't make it hard. You go there. They got a limited time offer. When you do that, you're already getting 15% off, but use code SUMMER. You get 20% off. That is awesome. Let me tell you about this. Fully charge your earbuds 4 times with a convenient and well-designed charging capsule. That's great. Perfect for every single ear. Different size ear. Don't worry. They've got it so it'll fit any ear. 24-hour battery life with the capsule. Phone capabilities are amazing. Water and sweat resistant and pairs like that seamlessly. It is incredible. And now is your chance to take advantage of the best earbuds around. Here's some of the people say, Mashable. This is the next big thing. Forbes, Ray J's transformed himself into a tech entrepreneur with these. High demand, high quality, but affordable. Fox. That's what they're saying about these. Try it for yourself. You will love every second of these. Free shipping. 45-day test drive. 100% satisfaction guarantee. You get a year warranty. Let's say you have them for 5 months. Something goes wrong with them. Whatever reason. We're not asking. Let's say you stepped on them on accident. Send them back. No questions asked. They replace them. Get yours now. Save big. Start well under $100 for both the E25s and the E55s. BuyRaycon.com/Chad. 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 Chad Benson Show.
Being antisocial sucks. Hang with Chad's friends on Facebook, The Chad Benson Show. And if you just need some alone time, head on over to Twitter at Chad Benson Show. Either way, we can't wait to meet the real you.
ABC News has learned that U.S. intelligence agencies have not reached a definitive explanation for the military's encounters with UAPs, and they have not found evidence to suggest that the UAPs are linked to alien spacecraft, nor are they in a position to explain what military pilots have reported over the years, and they have ruled out that they might be a secret government program.
So if they're not a secret government program, what they're not saying is they're not aliens, right? Like there could be aliens, but they're not aliens. But they could be, but they might not be. But you don't know, but it could be. But they're also not our programs. So if they're not our programs, and we are pretty sure they're not the programs of the likes of China or Russia, because as several senators and congresspeople have said, if that was true, that they would own us, then it leaves only one other thing. Something not of this world. Or there is some non-government group that is so advanced in what they're doing that they have built things that the government has no idea about. So think about that. Like an Elon Musk type who is at something that is so incredible, that is so amazing, that is so just otherworldly. Here's something, though. And again, we go back to this because it's interesting. It's one of the last things Trump did. He signed that infrastructure deal. This was part of that infrastructure deal to have this stuff out there. What about another dimension? They're not aliens. They're us. Different time, another place. Think Rick and Morty. Sounds stupid, but you don't know. And that's what they're saying. We don't know. What we do know, though, is there's something, and we can't explain it. Or we're not ready to explain all of it. Ooh, 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Check us out online, YouTube, and everywhere where good radio is available, or at least fair to Midland radio. I mean, I would give us that. I would think you can give us that. Just a smidge. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
We have our homicide unit of our Miami-Dade Police Department working feverishly on all the clues, as well the structural engineers working with our fire department at this time.
Mayor Daniela Levine Cava talking about the horrific collapse of a building yesterday, Miami. No signs of foul play. And I think a lot of people knew that this wasn't, it collapsed. It's what happened. Now, here's the interesting thing. They'd studied this thing. They've studied this thing. A professor studied this thing a while ago and had some interesting findings.
A professor from Florida International University who actually studied this building in the 1990s. He said that he was shocked at what he found back then, that the building was basically slowly sinking into the earth. He believes that whatever caused it to collapse didn't start this year, but many years ago.
Yeah, you're building stuff. This building was built in 1981. You're building stuff on sand. You're near the ocean. You can try to retrofit it and do stuff. You can try to do certain things to it, but you're also dealing with not hard bedrock. You're not dealing with solid land. You're dealing with sand. There's certain places in California you can't build as much as people would like to build in certain areas because the sand if there's an earthquake, will essentially turn to quicksand. This thing just started giving away. And probably the buildings around it are in a similar situation. Maybe not exactly the same, but I tell you what, if I'm living next door, I'm like, you need to get a structural engineer here right now. But we're building in places that we didn't build 50 and 100 years ago. That's why when people say, oh, the hurricanes are getting worse because look at all the damage it did. No, they're not getting worse. They're no stronger than they were 50 or 100 years ago. They're not coming as frequent as they did 50 and 100 years ago. Here's what's happening. People didn't live there. And our want to be, well, close to stuff that are aesthetically, pleasing to the eye, put us in situations where, imagine that. Think about the damage it would do if it was a hurricane, and I don't know, you didn't live next to the ocean. There wouldn't be any issues, right? There wouldn't be. Why? Because nothing would be damaged. You build in places you're not supposed to build. A wildfire is dangerous if there's houses around. Otherwise, it's at times nature doing nature. But when you build in areas like this, the possibility's real. We know a lot more about building today than we did in 1981. But if I'm living next door, I'm just like, we need to figure out what the deal is here. We need to get this done, please. Please, somebody go fix this issue. Make sure that we're not doing the same thing. And I wouldn't feel safe. I wouldn't. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Guess what? Vaccinated people aren't getting sick. Unvaccinated are getting sick.
You turn your back and say, nope, I'm not doing that. All you're doing is entering the death drawing. There were six. There were six today. How many is there going to be the next time we sit down? How many is there going to be on next Tuesday? I'm betting it'll be 8 or 9. If I knew for certain that there was going to be 8 or 9 people die by next Tuesday, and I could be one of them if I don't take the vaccine, what in the world do you think I would do?
That's Chip Justice. He's a Republican, by the way, from West Virginia. Vaccines do work. They do. I'm not a weirdo, not a wackadoo. I understand there's some hesitancy from people out there, but they do work. And the numbers are proving out over and over again. Guess what? You don't get vaccinated and you get this. More than likely, you're going to survive. Let's be real. Like 99% of you are going to survive. But people have been vaccinated. They're not getting this. And that's a good thing because we don't want to go back to where we were. Israel, remember Israel? Israel started out ass kicking, getting everybody vaccinated. They're back to wearing masks indoors because they've had issues. Partly because they've opened up the country again and allowed people to come and visit. There's a lot of different things that are going on there. In saying that, this thing is still here. It's not gone anywhere. And I don't care if you do or don't get vaccinated, but I think you should understand the risk. And I think some people do, and some people I still talk to do not understand the risk. They think it's a giant joke. They do. They think, it's a joke. It's not real. It was used to destroy Trump. And I'm like, okay. So we killed 600,000 people? And it's so funny, too. As I was talking to a guy yesterday who thought this whole thing is not real and it's a joke and it's just, it's just fear mongering and all of these things, that he had and his brilliant ideas. And then at the same time, he's trying to tell me how, the Chinese did this, the Wuhan lab and all of that stuff. And by the way, we're going to touch on that in a little bit. And I'm like, so wait, it's dangerous and it got out of a lab but it's not that dangerous? Well, I didn't say that. It's dangerous. It got out of a lab. And why is it dangerous? Because of how many people it can infect, how fast it can infect people. That was it. It was never whether or not it's more dangerous than the flu, right? 1 for 1, it might be on par with the flu. It might be a little bit more dangerous than the flu, and some of the variants probably are. But when the flu can, say, infect 1 million, and this thing could infect 10 million, even if it was less dangerous, it's still going to potentially kill more people. People don't want to do it. They don't. They're trying everything. Listen to this. I said at the beginning of this, you want to get people to take this thing? You're going to put it in places people frequent. I said, put it at a Starbucks. Right? You put it at a Starbucks, people are going to take it. Why? Well, I'm here. They're giving it away. Because we are a nation of convenience. How about this?
You've seen a pop-up vaccine clinic in plenty of places, but getting a shot of Moderna with a McFlurry or a Pfizer dose with a fresh order of fries, now that's different.
So if that's what gets them out, chicken nuggets saved your life? Awesome.
But some people will do almost anything for a free Happy Meal.
Making a Happy Meal with Ronald and Friends.
Ta-da! California McDonald's franchises working with the Department of Public Health to get people to roll up their sleeves, giving out a free menu item to those who get their shots here in Sacramento.
Yeah, that's what they're doing. So you go there and you're getting a McVaccine. That's what it is. States are giving away millions of dollars. Everybody's got a price, but for a lot of people, it's information. And let's talk about the fact that some people just aren't going to get it. So there's that. Sex sells. You want to give people sex? No, but I'm just saying, have it at a strip club. Chad, go to where the unvaccinated are. Who are the people unvaccinated? Who are the people that are unvaccinated more often than not? It's men. So what do men like? Producer Phil, do men like ladies? Just throwing it out there. Cisgender.
Yes.
Men. Okay. There you go. Put it where they are. Don't have them come to you if you're that serious about it. And do it in a way that's going to get people interested in it. McFlurries? McVaccine?
The state is giving away millions of dollars, right, to do things to get people to get shots in their arms, and we're doing our little part.
I think it makes it less intimidating than going to, say, a clinic. If it's a little less formal, I think it'll approach it and appeal to more people.
I can't think of anything else that would be better than taking care of your health, number one, and two, getting a free lunch out of us.
Bravo, hot fries coming through.
Ronald, the Happy Meal isn't happy yet.
Do you really think that's what people are going to do? Honestly. Well, I wasn't going to get it, but now that you're giving away free snacks. I said, if you want to get a lot of people here vaccinated that are unvaccinated in a place here, if the Suns go to the NBA Finals, the Clippers go to the NBA Finals, say, look, we're going to give one night, we're going to give away 17,000 tickets, but you got to get them and get vaccinated. Well, it's not very fair. Find the people's price, but take it to where the people are.
And for those heading to McDonald's to get vaccinated, well, they're loving it.
Even if it wasn't McDonald's, they're offering these services everywhere. Take advantage of it and stay healthy.
Pluto!
One toy with each Mickey and Friends Epcot Adventures Happy Meal you buy.
323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Check us out online across all the social media interwebs. We try to participate in a lot of different stuff. We do that. I'll tell you what. Kamala Harris going to the border today. She's going to make a quick stop there. I was like, is Abbott going to show up? No, he's not showing up. He's not going to show up. I'm surprised at who's not showing up, because there's some Democrats who are, and they may show up. Maybe they're flying with her, some Congress people that may be flying with her. But including, like Henry Cuellar and a few other, the Castro brothers and stuff who have implored the president, hey, pay attention to what's going on at the border. You need to come down and see what's happening at the border. You need to pay attention to some of this. I don't think you're understanding the things that are happening there.
There's constantly people either drowning or finding themselves in distress. We've made more rescues this year than we ever have, and unfortunately, we've seen an awful lot of deaths. The risk is not worth what they would consider the reward.
Yeah, and I think that's it. It's tough. Where I live, out here in near the Phoenix area, I call it the Valley of the Dirt People. But if you exit my exit, you turn left, you go up about a half a mile. That's the headquarters for Border Patrol. And then we have, and then you go towards my house. If you go towards my house, it's about 5 minutes past my house. It becomes reservation. And from there all the way down, it is reservation, by the way, on both sides of what would be the border. There's no roads because they will not allow them to put roads in. Obviously, there's no fence. So we have massive amounts of opportunity to cross. The desert's hot, but I'm talking to all the people around me who are essentially working for the border, and they tell me they're spending, obviously, they're busy as they can be. They've never seen it like this. But one of the things is they're hyper-focusing, and they've been hyper-focusing on rescues. Because unlike last year, and usually, I mean, the reality is it's seasonal at times. You'll get a big rush in certain times of the year where the weather's good. You can make it. You don't want to make the dangerous, perilous journey any worse by traveling through a desert in 120-degree heat. But people are doing it because they're desperate, more desperate than they've been, and they've got the opportunity, and they're trying to seize on it. And normally you see a downtick in the amount of people that are coming across in certain times of the year. It's not being done right now. People are still coming in droves.
There's a legal means to migrate to the U.S. Take advantage of that process as much as you possibly can. And if you're going to spend money on a smuggler, why not invest it in your home country?
Yeah, because the reality is investing in a home country that's full of nothing but corruption and crime. People don't want to do that because they feel like they're throwing their money away. And that's sad. But much like us, they continue to put the wrong people in power. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. It's your Twitter. MyPillow, the MyPillow, $29.98. It's a $40 saving. It's the queen size premium MyPillow. Or $5 more gets you the king size. Sleep amazing. Sleep incredible. Cool. Comfortable. Don't wake up with a headache. Don't wake up groggy. Simple thing to change your sleep. 60-day money-back guarantee. Machine washable and dryable. Here's the thing I love about MyPillow. It's made right here in the USA. It's made right here in the United States of America. For all the other things that are going on, and we're stocking them deep and selling them cheap because we're buying them from all over the globe, this is made here. You get a 10-year warranty and a 6-day money-back guarantee. Now it's your chance to take advantage of these huge savings, along with the Giza Dream Sheets, the My Slippers, the mattress topper, and the towels, and everything else. Go to MyPillow.com. Use the promo code Benson to save big. $29.98 for the MyPillow. You can save big there. Or $5 more gets you the king size. You can call 800-983-4975, 800-983-4975 to save big. Go to MyPillow.com. Use that promo code Benson to save on the premium queen-size MyPillow. $40 savings, 60-day money-back guarantee. Chad Benson Show.
Hashtag me too. Hashtag immigration reforms. Hashtag help. I'm trapped in a hashtag factory and I can't get out. The Chad Benson Show.
Let's get to work.
The Fast and Furious sequel F9, poised to have the biggest opening weekend since the start of the pandemic. Anticipation off the charts for the action flick, which many are hoping will really restart the box office. Helen Mirren co-stars. She tells me it's the perfect film to see in theaters.
Because part of it is the audience reaction, you know, the shouts and the laughter and the talk back to the screen. And so it's a real sort of communal experience, and that's exactly how it should be.
F9 out today, only in theaters, no streaming.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how that does. I mean, worldwide, it's done extremely well. I mean, they're probably figuring out how we do F48, F93. These guys are gonna be. That's a ton. It's a lot of Fs. There's like a throwaway movie. It's like, who would have thought? Like, they did Fast and Furious, and like, all right, we'll do this. Well, maybe I'll do a second one. The third one was weird, right? Because he didn't have Vin Diesel. It's like the third Halloween movie if you've never seen it. So you have Halloween, Halloween 2, and then they did a Halloween 3. It's called Season of the Witch. It doesn't have Michael Myers in it, and it's about a company that is apparently going to kill a bunch of people and destroy the world by using Halloween masks. You put them on and you watch it, and it's a weird movie. It had nothing to do with Michael Myers or any of that stuff. That's kind of what the third one was. And then everybody came back, and it was huge. By the way, speaking of Michael Myers, the trailer dropped late last night for the new Halloween movie, and it looks awesome. That's all I got to say. This looks awesome. Last night, Conan O'Brien said goodbye as he bids everybody adieu.
Try and do what you love with people you love. And if you can manage that, it's the definition of heaven on earth. I swear to God, it really is. So good night. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So the guy had a great run, and he's got a new HBO show. It's going to be a variety show, more harken back to the days of the 60s, 70s kind of thing. But he's done with late night. I still think he got screwed when it came to the Tonight Show. I think they panicked. Yanked it from him when they shouldn't have. But he said goodbye. 27 years he did that. 27 years. You could hear it in his voice, and he's tried a lot of different things. And I always found it to be very intriguing and interesting. Of all the things that's out there, I enjoyed him a lot more in his interviews than a lot of the other ding-dongs that are on television, especially late night, which is just awful. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
I'm very hopeful because we have the best team in the world. They're working around the clock, and they're using every possible tool, the sonar, the dogs, their world experience, and I know that they are hopeful, and so we are hopeful as well.
Mayor Daniela Levine Cava. Horrible incident. Building collapsed. They're hoping, they're praying that they're going to find people alive. Like I said yesterday, we came on the air, it just happened. And I said, this thing's going to be, they don't know. That like based on, these people own these, how many people were there? Well, yesterday it was 50 were missing. And then towards the end of the show, it was like, maybe it was like 90. They're not. Now it's up over 150 missing, 4 confirmed dead. By the time the show ends, this is going to take days to suss out. They've got cadaver dogs there. They're trying to rescue people, and that's a very tricky situation because you want to make sure you get to them if there are survivors, and doing so, how do you get to them in a way that you don't cause more danger, not only to yourself, but then potentially by moving stuff that could kill survivors if there is any?
This work is being done at extreme risk to these individuals. Debris is falling on them as they do their work. We have structural engineers on site to assure that they will not be injured, but they are proceeding because they are so motivated and they are taking extraordinary risk.
Yeah, and it is an extraordinary risk that they are taking. The question is simple for everybody else watching. Is it terrorism?
At this time, they haven't found any evidence of foul play. So that is important for people to know. Of course, it's not ruled out. Nothing's ruled out. But at this point, nothing to indicate that.
It's not terrorism. It's building in a place where you probably shouldn't have built.
A professor from Florida International University who actually studied this building in the 1990s. He said that he was shocked at what he found back then, that the building was basically slowly sinking into the earth. He believes that whatever caused it to collapse didn't start this year, but many years ago.
Yeah, you're building on not solid land. You're building that. You take away those buildings, it's probably mostly just sand. You're near the ocean. I mean, that's kind of what Florida is. Florida's an island attached to us. Sinkholes, all kinds of things that we've seen, and every month you'll see something like that. A sinkhole here, a sinkhole there, a whole, dealership gets swallowed up. And then you've got the sand. And it's been shifting. The big concern now, if I'm the homeowners on all of those other buildings around there, is, are we safe? And do you even believe any of that stuff if you are? I think it's going to be tough for a lot of people. I know going to sleep at a place across the street from there would probably be a little uncomfortable right now. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. The Delta variant. Now there's a Delta Plus variant, that makes me seem like you've been on an airplane. We'd like to welcome our Delta Plus Gold Card members. Well, now there's you've got the Delta Plus. So we not only have Delta, we have Delta Plus.
The Delta variant tearing through the country, fueling hospitalizations in some areas with low vaccination rates. Delta now accounting for 20% of all new infections. Missouri right now with the highest rate.
Yeah, but low vaccination numbers. That's it. Low vaccination numbers. If you're not vaccinated and you're exposed to something, doesn't matter what it is, and you're exposed to it enough, there is a chance that you're going to catch it. That's just one of those things where you're like, oh, yeah, I could see that. Yeah, that's called common sense. That's what that's called. Common sense. Oh. Low vaccination numbers with something that's highly contagious. The Delta variant is supposed to be much more contagious. Is it more deadly? Don't know. Is it more contagious? According to some. Well, what are people doing? Some people, in particular, in areas, and this is a red state, blue state thing. Let's pretend for a second that we live in a world where we can actually discuss stuff. Certain states, Mississippi, West Virginia, their vaccination numbers are low. Their infection rates are going up. And no matter what they try to do, it doesn't seem to be working to get more people vaccinated. Governor of West Virginia, Jim Justice.
You turn your back and say, nope, I'm not doing that. All you're doing is entering the death drawing. There were six. There were 6 today. How many are going to be the next time we sit down? How many are going to be on next Tuesday? I'm betting it'll be 8 or 9. If I knew for certain that there was going to be 8 or 9 people die by next Tuesday, and I could be one of them if I don't take the vaccine, what in the world do you think I would do?
Yeah. 37% of people in West Virginia are vaccinated. 37%. When you break down states, the blue states are vaccinating more people because it turned into politics. It turned into politics. We allowed it to become politics. I'm not doing this because you got the evangelicals that allowed, oh, don't get this, or they you know what? This is what my pastor says. Great dude. He didn't get into it. Consult your doctor. That's it. Okay. So you have the South. I think Mississippi's like 22%. 22%. You're not buying this thing's dangerous, Chad. No, I'm buying that this thing is dangerous to people, especially people who are overweight, people who have comorbidities, the elderly. I mean, The flu's dangerous to those people. So why wouldn't this thing be? The difference between this thing and other things is the net it casts is much bigger. Now, I don't think we're going to ever go back in like we were. I mean, I think if the Ebola virus was to take shape and fly around with an axe, I don't think we'd be going back in. People are like, well, I'm going to try. We'll see what happens. But it doesn't mean that this thing isn't going to hurt certain areas. And yet people are still not convinced, even though 151 million plus vaccines, both doses have been given, over 300 plus million have been given, and people are still like, I don't know. People could turn into an egg. You don't know. So people aren't doing it.
I mean, I would run over top of somebody because I don't want to take the chance when the wheel spins that it could come up Jim Justice.
Jay.
Why, there is a Jay. I don't want to take that chance. Well, when you turn your back and say, nope, I'm not doing that, all you're doing is entering the death drawing.
I don't care if you get it or you don't get it. But if you think you're not getting it based on the fact that you think it's not real or that you are some way, shape, or form are going to turn into the Manchurian candidate and that you're going to be controlled by government or followed by government because of something that you read on the internet, not a lot I can say at that point in time. I guess that's a you thing, and we'll see what happens. Most people will survive. Most people are going to be just fine. But it doesn't mean it still can't cause hell and havoc, which ends up doing what? Affecting everybody else, especially in the financial world. Right? But it became politics. And once politics gets involved in anything, it jacks everything up. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson shows your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Love hearing from every single one of you. Kamala Harris going to the border. She'll probably be there for about 5 seconds. I'm thinking to myself, because, even people are saying, well, okay, why is she going to El Paso? Why is she going to El Paso? Well, she's going to El Paso because it's easy, right? So she gets there. She's going to have great picture opportunities because, remember, it's optics. She could say she's gone there. The optics are wonderful. I've been there. I've seen it. We're trying. 93 days she has been the czar. Biden's like, she's doing a great job. Doing a great job because he's a whisper. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But she's going to be met by Beto O'Rourke and a few other people. It's going to be quick and easy. She's going to get out, take a picture, get back. She doesn't want to fly to Yuma. She doesn't want to come to the Tucson sector because those are extra hours out of her day. She wants to be back in D.C. because she probably has stuff to do. Stuff like dinners and stuff. Is she meeting with anybody? Right? She's spending time on the actual border. People are asking questions. I don't think Abbott's showing up. I don't think any of those things. I think it's going to be a quick, easy scenario where she goes, she takes a couple quick pictures. She's probably looking at them saying, don't turn the plane off. We'll be right back. She may get off the plane and nobody's looking and maybe a green screen. That's not true, Chad. But she's not solving this. She's not. Because nobody has the want to solve it. It's like anything. You have to have an absolute want to get something done and buy-in from other people. And nobody's ready to do that right now. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. It's your Twitter, your Instagram, across all of your goodies. You check us out, Rough Greens, my dog. We had a dog sitter last night. We said, make sure you just sprinkle this on their food. And what is it? I'm like, it's Rough Greens. Like, what's it do? And I said, well, makes them feel better. It's the best way to describe it. He's a good kid, but it's just, I said, you sprinkle it on top of it. The cats get it. The cats don't get it. Just the dogs right now. Just the dogs. I said, they're going to lick the bowl. It's going to look weird. It is awesome what it's done and transformed my dog. My buddy here, Pablo, he's got a dog that's much older, and he was telling me, earlier in the year, I don't know what I'm going to do with my dog. He's not taking walks like he used to. I'm like, dude, here's a couple bags of rough greens. Try it. Gave him the rough greens, and he's like, dude, my dog's going to live. Like, it looks like another couple, 2-3 years. He's just so bouncy and happy. He's taking walks again. That's what it does. The way that it's changed my dog's life, especially when it get older. Like all of us, man, your joints hurt a little bit more. All of those things. My knees hurt a little bit. I would like to have rough greens to help with my knees. My dog Doodle is better for it. Now's your chance to try it for free. You pay for shipping. They're going to get it out to you for absolute free. It's that simple. Vitamins, minerals, vegetables. It's got all these nutrients in it, all these amazing things that your dog's food's missing, and what it'll do for their joints, and what it's done for my dog's fur. It is so much shinier. It just looks amazing. Try it right now. ruffgreens.com/Chad, ruffgreens.com/Chad, or call 833-MyDog77, 833-MyDog77. You pay for the shipping. They're going to give you a bag for free to try it. And trust me, you will not be disappointed. Rough Greens makes any pet food better. Chad Benson Show.
Warning, no snowflake zone. Uninformed opinions are in danger of melting. The Chad Benson Show.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff.
Now it's time to find out what's trending.
What's trending? Yeah, what does that mean? I mean something, right? Like it's trending on the old internet. What's trending?
Let us take a peek, find out what's trending. Stuff trends every single day. Some of it's weird, some of it's bizarre, some of it is hilarious. What people are talking about, what people are searching for in things like Twitter and Google. Let's take a look. Yes, the recall effort. Gavin Newsom trending big time. From Sia to Steven Silberg, all of these people are pouring money into Gavin Newsom's recall fight. We'll touch on that in a little bit. George Orwell in this day, 1903. George Orwell was born. Ooh, was he? Yes. Little bit of a prophet there at times, you would think. Of course, the collapse in the building in Miami is trending everywhere, both Google, Twitter. It's a horrible situation and a fluid situation. Derek Chauvin, obviously, the sentencing today. Head on over to Google, though. This is where Google gets much different. Less political. Halloween kills, the number one trending thing so far. Miami building collapse, number 2. Suns, yesterday. Over 1 million people searched for that. Surfside, Florida, where the building collapsed. People are asking questions. Where is this place? Fast and Furious. Conan O'Brien. Yesterday was it. He signed off. 27 years doing late night television. Started as a writer, Saturday Night Live, and then with The Simpsons, and then got a show. And that was very interesting, and of course, if you followed any of the stuff that he did, I was found to be much more entertaining than a lot of the other guys, because it was just very casual, and I think, that was kind of his thing. Late night TV sucks anyway, and I tell people, I think that one of the big reasons that Jay Leno did as well as he did, and even at the time, the likes of Letterman, before they ended up getting super political, and Leno never did, Leno never really got political, but he was, it's like one of those things where he was the last kind of gasp of Johnny Carson. That's why he did as well as he did. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. He's in a rock band, and I use the word rock band loosely, but he left the rock band so he could actually talk about stuff that he felt he couldn't talk about. She'll discuss. A lot of stuff still to get to. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. It's Chad Benson Show.
Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Most people don't want to leave home. And when they do, it is usually because either they are fleeing some type of harm or they cannot take care of the simple and basic needs of their family by staying where they are.
That's the czar of the border, vice president, 93 days. She's not visited the border. They're like, hey, you're in charge of something. And she's like, oh, this is great. I got it. They gave me something good. I can be the czar of the border. Are you going to the border? No, I don't think I'm going to go to the border. But you're the czar of the border. I don't want to go to the border. I'll go to Guatemala. I'll go to Mexico. But are you going to stop down at the border because there's a lot of stuff going on down there? And nah, I don't think so. Finally, she's like, fine, I'll go. But I'm going where I want to go. And I'm not staying long. Look. All kidding aside, she's not fixing anything. All kidding aside, this is a much bigger situation than the vice president saying that she's going to fix something or her being in charge of fixing something, because the amount of things that need to be done at the border and need to be done in other countries to stop this from happening is huge. It's huge. First of all, she's right. A lot of people like to stay home. But you're not staying home when the place that you live is a hot mess. You have no chance at any kind of decent life. It's corrupt and it's violent. And next door is, well, the promised land. Secondly, we're not doing anything to curb it. We're not. We're talking about giving people a pathway to citizenship. Is not a way of curbing it. And the third most important thing is the power is in the problem. And as we all know, the thing that they crave is power. My precious. That's what they are. They're Gollum. My precious power. You're able to raise money off of it. You're able to keep your name in the papers, on the YouTube, on the Twitter, talking about how you're battling stuff and you're doing things. And if only you could get more money and continue to stay in power, then you're going to be able to solve the problem yourself, which is not true.
We are here today to address and to talk about what has brought people to the U.S. border. And again, to continue to address the root causes which cause people to leave and often flee their home country.
We know what that is. I just play. Like, everybody knows why they're fleeing. Everybody does. But the chances of you stopping are slim to none. Border Patrol Chief Raul Ortiz.
There's a legal means to migrate to the U.S. Take advantage of that process as much as you possibly can. And if you're going to spend money on a smuggler, why not invest it in your home country?
Because why would you give money to a country that is what? Anyone? Corrupt? Awful? Dangerous? There's a reason. There is a reason why people are fleeing. They come to America because they see it as a land of opportunity. They see it as an opportunity to take care of themselves, an opportunity to take care of their family back home, and they're willing to take that risk. Nobody is willing to take the risk to fix the situation.
There's a lot of work that needs to be done, and that can't just rest on the shoulders of the Department of Homeland Security. There's other agencies that have a responsibility here.
Yeah. And politicians, and enforcing the law, and having a better law rather than, okay, if we catch you, we're just going to release you, and then we'll see you, in probably 3 years, maybe. I don't know. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show, your Twitter. Tweet at us. Gavin Newsom, if you guys don't know him, He's the governor of California. I was joking earlier, but if you could go to Central Casting and say, all right, here's the deal. We want somebody who's kind of charming, looks great, checks all of the boxes, right? So on the, politician-wise, you'd be like, oh, you're building Gavin Newsom. You're building Gavin. He looks like Christian Bale from American Psycho, and at times he acts that way. The recall effort is real, and it's there. And the money that's pouring in from outside the state to keep him there is big.
Right-wing Republicans won't stop their election rejections. So in California, we've got to stop them.
Democrats hope by framing Governor Newsom's recall as a partisan effort, enough Californians would rescind their support, killing the recall. Instead, only 43 out of 1.7 million withdrew their signature.
It's unfortunate that $215 million that could have gone to help Libby Schaap and her homeless efforts are going on a Republican-backed recall.
Well, because you're a hot mess. You guys were. You absolutely have been a hot mess. Here's the thing. Nobody's excited about what goes on with the likes of the people that may run against Newsom. And that's a California thing. People are leaving California in a way that they've never had before. They've lost a congressional seat. They're top heavy when it comes to taxes. They're overregulated, overtaxed. It's too expensive to live there. And then you had the reason that they're even having any kind of smile on their face is because the government bailed them out. And this was a lot across the country. Blue states and red states are different. Red states, in many cases, Florida, Texas, what they do? They were open. They allowed people to make choices. And, well, turned out okay. Well, it could get worse. Could get. Obviously. California clamped down. My son didn't go to school for almost 18 months. That's nuts. Even when teachers were prioritized to be vaccinated. No. Couldn't operate your business. The rules were just insane. But nobody's excited about the people that may take over for Newsom. The way that it works in California is you vote on whether or not to recall him. So if he's recalled, then you have another election on who's going to be governor. You don't put all the people up there at once. It's not the way it works. Here's the thing, though. He's going to survive this.
Gavin Newsom has California roaring back.
Gavin Newsom is this political Houdini. Over the last 25 years or so in his career, he has managed to really escape pretty much every challenge thrown at him and comes out smelling like a rose.
And that'll be the same here. And the reason's simple. People are living their life again. They're going out, they're doing things again. They're trying to climb out from the nightmare that's been the last 18 months. And when all of that is going on, out of sight, out of mind. If you're sitting around still locked down, if you will, what are you doing? You're grumbling, you're angry. I can't believe I'm still locked down. And you focus that on a singular person, which was Gavin Newsom, rightly so. But now you're back to work. You're having to deal with the day-to-day things in life that you dealt with before. And because of that, your mind's no longer on him singularly. But it is interesting the way that California's done things compared to other states. Blue states were bailed out in a huge way by the feds, especially a place like California, because they locked down for so long. Red states, not so much. But the red states also are having issues, especially in places like West Virginia, Mississippi, Missouri, rising cases when it comes to the coronavirus, because what didn't they do? Vaccines were there. People didn't want to get vaccinated. We're a blue state, red state country in more ways than I think people really believe. And it's showing that. And our founding fathers wanted us to have the battle among states, if you will, not the actual like fights. They got that anyways, but the actual a battle among states competing with one another. And that's what you're seeing more and more. We're segregating ourselves politically in so many ways. Yeah, it's interesting. And then you got a state like mine. Here, I'm in Arizona. And I'd say we're about as purple as it gets. Not quite blue, but getting there. But when I moved here, I've been here 4 years, it was a red state. But I said, this state's not going to be red for long. And all the experts are like, oh, it's totally going to be red. It's not. It's now 2 senators are Democrats. Democrats are 1 seat away from taking both the House and the Senate here in the state. More congressional Democrats in D.C. And you've got the insanity of the audit that's going on. And the lady that is front and center is a Democrat who has now got national recognition and is in the leader of the clubhouse to be the new governor. We're still kind of purple, though. We're still kind of purple. Where am I going to go next? 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. When will it be released? Today's the day the report has to come out about the UFOs. Now, the hearings and some other stuff, not today. But when Trump signed that last stimulus that he did, this was one of the things that was put inside of that stimulus.
ABC News has learned that U.S. intelligence agencies have not reached a definitive explanation for the military's encounters with UAPs, and they have not found evidence to suggest that the UAPs are linked to alien spacecraft, nor are they in a position to explain what military pilots have reported over the years, and they have ruled out that they might be a secret government program.
Yeah. Do I think it is? I don't know. There's a opinion piece, New York Times. I created the X-Files. Here's why I'm skeptical of the new UFO report. So Chris Carter, screenwriter, director, X-Files, talks about the fact that he's never seen a UFO or an alien, as much as he'd like to. He goes, I've met many people who claim they have. I've seen tons of grainy videos of all kinds of stuff on back patios, this, that, and the other. But, you know, he's skeptical of it. That's not totally understandable. That is totally understandable. There is no definitive proof because the reality is whatever's out there, the Navy pilots seeing things with their own eyes, the Tic Tac videos, we don't have those. So we don't know what they are. What we're pretty sure they are is they're nothing that we own. And they're probably not anything that the Chinese, Russians have. And it's not like you're like, oh my God, did you guys hear Moldova's got some great stuff? It's not that. It's unexplained. And that's what it is at this point in time. Unexplained. Can't figure it out. Could it be an alien? Could it be interdimensional? Could it be some other dimension just crossed over? Then you've got scientists at Harvard and Yale who are saying, you know what? We could have been, like a garden. These seeds have been planted, and that's us, and they're coming back to take a peek. It's all kinds of things this thing could be, but what they know is they don't know. That's what they do know. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Love hearing from all of you Raycon best earbuds around. Let me tell you about the Raycons, all right? Let's give you guys a snapshot of Raycons. You go to buyraycon.com/Chad. When you do that, you see all the amazing, incredible Raycons they have, the colors, all of that stuff. Normally, you get 15% off. Use code SUMMER right now. You're going to get 20% off when you do the buy now. So what do you get with Raycons? Well, first of all, to choose from the Raycons it's tough, right? You got the E55s and the E25s. Right now, I'm telling you, the phone capabilities, talk about all the time. You got to make phone calls. You got to do stuff, even in the wind with the noise isolating fit and the built-in microphone the way it is. You make amazing phone calls. The battery life, you get a capsule charger that you put your earbuds in. That itself is a charger. You get 24 hours of charge time. That's 4 full charges. And water resistant, sweat resistant, pairs instantly. That's amazing. And here's the thing. No risk, all reward. 45-day test drive, meaning if you're not happy, send them back. Boom. They have a no questions asked 1 year satisfaction guarantee and warranty. So let's just say you're listening to your earbuds and you put them down for a second and your kid picks them up and smashes them. Didn't know what they were doing, right? They fell down. Uh-oh. Send them in. No questions asked. Get new ones. Free shipping as well. You got the E25s, E55s. Take advantage of all of these things right now with the best earbuds. No stems, no wires, just awesome earbuds. Get yours now. BuyRaycon.com/Chad. 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 Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show, where we reach across the aisle and occasionally poke someone in the eye.
Britney Spears apologizing to fans for making it look on Instagram like she has a happy life, when really she's been suffering for years. She claimed in court Wednesday that she's been abused by her conservatorship. She's depressed and sad all the time. She writes on Instagram that she put on a happy mask publicly because she was embarrassed to share what was really going on, and that pretending to be okay is actually one of the things that helped her get through the bad times. She's asked the judge to end the conservatorship. That process will take time.
Yeah. People pretend? Of course they do. That's what Instagram, TikTok, Facebook's all about. It's about pretending that life is great. Like I said, that whole thing is a mess, and watching it in it unfold itself. And do I think that she is 100%? And I got into it with my other on-air partner for the other local show I did, because he's like, "Well, who cares? You know, it's her money. Let her do what she wants with it." I'm just like, it's not about that, man. It's your kid, right? Like, think about this. Yeah, if your kid's 25 years old and has a ton of money, but is kind of starting to lose it and drift off into the world, and all that's around them are people who are stealing from them and taking. Maybe it's your mom and dad, and they've got some money, and maybe not to this extent, but the hangers-on are stealing from them, overcharging, doing stuff. Would you not want somebody looking out for you? Or no? Well, no, it's yours. Well, that's simplistic. And look, I'm totally fine if you want to blow your mind. If you're worth $1 billion and you're in your right mind and you want to go out and give it all away and blow it and whatever, that's one thing. But if you're maybe not all there, and I don't know if she's all there or not. I don't. And that's one of the things that she doesn't want, is some of the stuff to come out about her mental health in these proceedings. So, but you can't live a life like that and, come through unscathed. I don't think, I don't know. It's a tough thing. But like I say, think about this more and more. This is happening, not to this extent, but because you're becoming a caregiver for your mother, your father, your brother, your aunt, your uncle, your kids. So, I mean, it's happening. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. It's the Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
A professor from Florida International University who actually studied this building in the 1990s. He said that he was shocked at what he found back then, that the building was basically slowly sinking into the earth. He believes that whatever caused it to collapse didn't start this year, but many years ago.
Yeah, horrific scenes as they try to dig themselves out of what took place yesterday in that collapse in Surfside, right there just outside of Miami. A horrible scene, and every hour it gets, the optimism goes down in finding any kind of survivors, and the numbers, as far as missing seem to be going up. Currently, we're at right around I've seen 2 or 3, and again, these are fluid things. Yesterday, we started out, it was 1 dead, 50 missing. By the end of the show, getting towards 90-ish. By the end of that, it was like 99. This morning, 150-something. And they're looking as best that they possibly can for survivors. But it's a dangerous, dangerous situation.
This work is being done at extreme risk to these individuals. Debris is falling on them as they do their work. We have structural engineers on site to assure that they will not be injured, but they are proceeding because they are so motivated and they are taking extraordinary risk.
That right there is Mayor Daniela Levine Cava talking about what they're facing at this point in time. Again, they're hoping for survivors. They've got the cadaver dogs out there. They're listening to stuff. Is it noises that is real, like as somebody's banging on something, or is it just all of the debris settling? But a horrible, horrible situation to say the least. And it's going to take a few days. But there's no doubt, if you watch it and you can see it, and we tweeted it out yesterday, there's a closed circuit TV that has it. There was across the street. And by the way, if I'm in that building, I'm like, we need to check. I'm like, I would not feel safe in any of those buildings around there. And if you look at the above shot, you can see it's surrounded by high rises and it, Florida's famous for sinkholes and alligators. And Florida, man, this is one of those situations where you built in a place on the ocean near places where, well, you're going to find ground that was tough to stabilize because it's sand and it's moving. And this is what ends up potentially happening. And for years, I mean, places in California where people have built, and you see some of these homes that are, they're abandoned and they can't be, they built them and they found out, well, there's an earthquake. This thing's going to fall apart like that. Remember, we have moved to places and they're aesthetically pleasing, but in doing so, there's also a danger. Put yourself in paths of hurricanes and earthquakes and stuff like that. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. She's doing it, kids. Kamala Harris is doing it. She's going to the place called the border. Now, I know what you're thinking. Chad, how is she getting to the Canadian border? Well, it's simple. She's not going to the Canadian border. She's going to the other border, the Mexico-USA border.
We are here today to address and to talk about what has brought people to the U.S. border, and again, to continue to address the root causes which cause people to leave and often flee their home country.
Yes. Well, let me tell you why they're fleeing their home country. Corruption, crime. Lots of crime. Crime and corruption from the government. No trust in their government. No hope for the future. Let me tell you another reason they're leaving. We are America. We're still the place that people want to get to. We're still the place that is opportunity. Desperation, coupled with the fact that, yes, it is a desperate trek, but opportunities right there. Why wouldn't you, if you were in a desperate situation, go, well, I'm going to do everything I can to get over there? Of course you're going to. Absolutely you're going to do that. And that's what people are doing. You couple that with the fact that you had a year where Trump had clamped down and made you apply for asylum on the other side. The catch and release was essentially gone, which is the thing that if I could get rid of anything at this moment in time when it comes to the border, I would have said eliminate catch and release. Eliminate that. But no, now we're back at that again. So people are feeling the opportunity is now to come over there. They've heard the president speak. They feel like they've got a friend in this president who is going to wink, wink, nudge, nudge, not really do anything as far as sending them back. So they feel like they've got nothing to lose and all to gain.
We faced significant challenges back in March. We've made extraordinary progress. I look forward to sharing with the Vice President the progress we've made, the work that remains.
And Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas talking about, yes, the progress. 93 days. She has been the czar of the immigration border, and 93 days. She's made it a point not to go there, but her streak is being broken today. Cal Ripken and Lou Gehrig can sleep well knowing that their streaks are safe. It's just nuts. Politicians don't care, though. They don't want any part of that. Like, fixing that thing is no part of that. Zero part in fixing that. And you and I, as normal, everyday, average Joes and Jans, are laughing because we know if we really sat down, we could probably put something together that would essentially be somewhat decent. But here's the thing, and this is something that I don't think it's often talked about enough. It's you could put together a great plan, but at the end of the day, the thing that matters absolutely the most is execution. I'm not talking about people. If you don't execute your plan. So whether it's the laws for guns or whether it's immigration, right? If you don't execute those things in the sense where you don't actually follow through on the things that you've put out there, then none of it matters. Every Sunday for now, this year, 17 Sundays, teams will put together plans to try to win games in football. Sometimes things will happen, but when you don't execute the things you're supposed to do, plan to fail. And we've put in things in writing. We have changed laws. We've put laws in place. We have done a lot of different things. But at the end of the day, what we have is some states are going to push back and be totally fine with what's happening. But a lot of times, even when we catch people, understanding that treating them like human beings, because that's what they are, we don't execute the way that we should be. We're like, yeah, come on in. If we're serious about it, we'll do it. Infrastructure. Yesterday, we got a deal done with infrastructure, right? Bipartisan deal. What didn't everybody get?
But it's a big deal. This agreement is going to create new financing authority that's going to leverage private capital and infrastructure and clean energy projects. It'll provide folks with good paying jobs that can't be outsourced. Neither side got everything they wanted in this deal. That's what it means to compromise. It reflects consensus. The heart of democracy requires consensus. And it's this time a true bipartisan effort, breaking the ice that too often has kept us frozen in place, prevented us from solving the real problems facing the American people.
Yeah. Both sides didn't get everything they wanted. They got some wants. They got some needs. Some stuff was missed. They're going to spend a lot of our money because that's what they tend to do. And they tend to put stuff in certain places that, you sit back there and it's like, nah, there's so much better you can do with that money. Still, at the end of the day, until you get the deal signed, until you execute it, it's just there. Right? We already had a shovel-ready job situation before. That didn't work. It's the beauty of government. Government doesn't want to execute. They like the planning. They like the spending the money. But the doing, that's not something that a lot of people want. It's like how many people I want to lose weight, right? You go out and you buy the food and you do all the stuff that you think you're going to do. And at the end of the day, you're like, oh, this is hard. I don't know if I really want to do this. This is kind of hard. You've got to execute it. You've got to actually follow through with those things. And I just don't think we have people that are ready to do that in a real way because they're too concerned about the power that they have to raise money and to keep themselves in power than to actually put the plan together and follow through with it. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Rough Greens makes any pet food better. Give it to my mom. She doesn't take it, but she has dogs. They've got Great Danes. This is my mom's house. Like, they've got Great Danes. Everybody's like, oh my God, big, yeah, but oh no, it gets better. So they got a couple of those. They also have giant Burmese mountain dogs. and they have got Czech Republic. I'm serious. There was dogs that are giant as well. Resemble a German Shepherd or a Belgian Malinois, and that's like the small dog. And guess what? They all get Rough Greens. And here's something else. As the dogs have gotten older, in particular the Great Danes, they're still running around and doing things well into their, what would be considered their later life. And the big reason is their joints don't hurt. And that's Rough Greens. They get vitamins, minerals, vegetables, all these amazing things, probiotics. And it has helped with their joint pain like it's helped with my dog Doodle. Right now, it's a buy it, no. It's a try it, yes, situation with Rough Greens. You're not paying a penny. You pay for the shipping. They're going to give you the bag for free. They want you to try it out first. Put it to the test. The thing I noticed with my dog Doodle is after about a week or so, he was running around. He was jumping up and down on the couch. He didn't have to be placed up there. And the second thing I noticed after about a month is how much better his coat was. 16 months into it, he's like a puppy, and I love that. Try it yourself for your dogs. If you love your animals like I love my animals, see the difference. Go to ruffgreens.com/Chad, ruffgreens.com/Chad. Try it before you buy it. Pay for the shipping. They give you a bag for free. Or you can call 833-MY-DOG-77. Rough Greens makes any pet food better. Chad Benson Show.
Boys, give me a bowl of chili with plenty of peppers.
One Mexican heartburn. Why don't you mugs grow up?
The Chad Benson Show, where independent, a la carte thinkers have a seat at the table and a voice in the dialogue.
I'll have what she's having.
This is Chad Benson.
With just over 45% of the country fully vaccinated, the push to get more Americans to roll up their sleeves continues. The nation's top infectious disease expert says the best way to put a stop to the Delta variant is to get vaccinated.
Yeah. Of course you should get vaccinated. Of course. I mean, if you feel you want to. Now, if you're not getting vaccinated because you think that you're going to turn into a plant, which is what one lawmaker out here in Arizona suggested, or you're going to be controlled by the government or whatever. Well, I mean, that's the dumbest thing in the world. Maybe you shouldn't be vaccinated. Let's see if nature sorts this one out. If you're not getting it because you're cautious, totally understandable. Talk to a lady I work with here who had it. And she says, you know what? I'm going to do it, but I want to give it a little bit more time. That right there is a reasonable explanation of why you haven't. But you've also got situations like people of color. Latin X, as Biden says, which is the dumbest. I'm going to say it right now, it's just the dumbest thing. It is. Latinx thing is so, don't even get me started. I work with, out here in our news department, it is mostly Latin women. I guess it's the best way to describe it. They're Americans, but and I would say 3 or 4 of them are, English is their second language. And they just laugh when they hear this. They're like, this is the dumbest thing in the world. But people in red states, not getting it. Evangelicals, not getting it. Super hardcore Republicans that think it's a joke, not getting it. And people of color, not getting it. We're finding out who's not getting the vaccine.
People. There's a reason why it's been harder to get African Americans initially to get vaccinated. Because they used to being experimented on. Tuskegee Airmen and others. People have memories. People have long memories. It's awful hard as well to get Latinx vaccinated as well. Why? They're worried that they'll be vaccinated and deported. So look, from day one, something that Governor Cooper has been totally focused on is making sure we get as many people vaccinated, particularly people who don't have access to health care usually.
Understandable in some of those. The deported thing is one thing. I'm sure that's true in some cases, but especially for Latin men. They don't trust. There's been a lot of information flying around on the internet about what may happen if you get this, including the big thing in my buddy Pablo. I was talking to him the other day about his friends. They think it's going to make you impotent. They think it's going to make you sterile. And that is so that's hard to combat. That's other disinformation that has nothing to do with politics. And also, a lot of them come from countries where they don't trust their government. So not surprising why some people don't want to get it. And even if you say, well, I got it, they'll say, well, you probably got a different version. And I'm like, well, you can't. There's no combating that. At that point in time, you're like, you're right. I did. I got the white version. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
You'd think with more Americans now vaccinated, COVID anxiety would be easing, but according to a recent study, a lot of folks are still feeling down.
Yeah, and when you factor in work, a lot of employees say they're more overwhelmed than ever. Are you feeling the burn? Burnout, that is. Frazzled, irritable, just over it. You're not alone. A growing number of Americans say they're suffering from total work burnout. It's a real syndrome characterized by chronic workplace stress, and the pandemic has only made things worse.
Total burnout. Total burnout. Are you totally burnt out? I think a lot of people are. But look, did COVID make things, some things worse? Yeah, I think for some it did, as far as work goes, and obviously if you lost your job and stuff like that. But also, did it, for some it make better? It's like, I can work from my house now. Yeah. So you got total work burn out. That's what's going on. COVID is apparently the reason.
More than half of workers surveyed report feeling burned out, with over 2/3 blaming COVID-19, a dramatic 43% increase from before the pandemic. One culprit, Americans are reportedly clocking in roughly 2.5 more hours each day, with difficulty balancing work and family and unplugging at home. Uncertainty about post-pandemic work setups may also be to blame, paired with decreased wages, lack of promotions, and slower career development caused by COVID-19 limitations.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And I also think a lot of people not sure what they want to do. They're looking around. They're taking stock of their life. A situation like this is life-changing for a lot of people. It allows you to slow down and say, all right, well, is this what I really want to do? Is it not what I really want to do? Do I find, could I see myself here in 2 or 3 years? A lot of jobs out there, a lot of opportunities out there, but people don't seize opportunities the way you think, because so many people out there are not interested. They're not thinking about tomorrow. They're not thinking about next month or 6 months down the line, because they're living day to day. Some of them, paycheck wise, and some of them, that's just not who they are. A good majority of people, they live for a weekend. They live for their vacations. But COVID's given an opportunity to think about certain things.
Wondering if you've got a case of burnout? Experts point to emotional and physical exhaustion, trouble sleeping, being inefficient, and feeling cynical about your job. For so many, beating the burnout is the next step for a successful post-pandemic work.
Are you feeling cynical about your job? Okay, here's the thing about your job. Most people feel cynical at some point in time about their job. But if it's one of these all day, you got to make a choice. Do I want to do this? I think a lot of people are always looking for some sort of work balance life thing, and that's just a bunch of crock of crap. There's no such thing as that. There isn't. For me, and my family knows this, provide a good living for them. They live well, and we don't have to worry about stuff, and we're blessed for that. But you know what? I bust my ass, and they know that. You know, like I was talking to Jack last night because we went to a son's watch party. And, you know, he and I were chatting, you know, like, I said, dude, I got to get here in a little bit. So we got to get to the hotel. You know, I said, you guys can go swimming and stuff. But I said, I got to get up at, you know, really, really early. And he's like, oh, that sucks, Dad. And I know. I go, but do you like, he goes, but I know. Because, and I like all the stuff that you're able to do and how you're, there isn't that balance. That's a bunch of crap. That work balance life. It's, when I'm with my family, it's 100%. When I'm with work, it's 100%. But I spend more time with my coworkers than I do my family. I haven't seen my mom and them for a long time. Some of that's COVID, but also the fact that I just don't have that balance. I have a little niece that I have never met and a second one on the way. And I hope to see the first niece before the second one gets here. Part of life is the fact that you make sacrifices. And a lot of people I know aren't willing to make certain sacrifices. And that is totally understandable because it's about other things. And that is great. It's a wonderful thing. I think there's times when I wish I could do that, but that's just not who I am. And I think we're all built in a different way. But COVID has definitely made people think. It's made people go, I don't know if I want to do this. The question is, what do you want to do? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. The border will get a visitor today.
Most people don't want to leave home. And when they do, it is usually because either they are fleeing some type of harm or they cannot take care of the simple and basic needs of their family by staying where they are.
Yeah. That's Kamala Harris. No, I would never have. Yes, it is. She's going to the border. It's not the Canadian border, which they probably tricked her. They're like, oh, yeah, you're going to go to the Canadian border. And they're like, just fly her to El Paso. She's going to El Paso. She's going to talk about what's going on at the border. She's going to solve nothing. It's a great picture op. She's going to turn around and fly back. She'll be in D.C. tonight. That's the way this goes. Nothing's going to get solved. She's not fixing anything. Nothing is going to change at all. And I know that sounds cynical, and it should sound a little cynical, but it's also the truth. So you want to do something, and you have buy-in from the other people who also have to be a part of doing something. Nothing will get done. Nothing. And nothing's going to get done here. And I don't blame her for that at all. I blame her for not going down there sooner, but I don't blame her for not fixing something that was broken when she was a child, much like me, and has not been fixed since, because it's funny, even when you change the players in the game, oddly enough, in politics, seems to stay the exact same. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Brian Stelter.
How can citizens be educated to question propaganda and think critically? Answer that in 1 minute.
It obviously begins early. It begins with students. It begins in the classroom. But I think it also has a lot to do with news literacy programs. And we have seen a lot of investment in media and news literacy with groups of the News Literacy Project trying to instill these values. At the end of the day, we all need to eat a healthy, balanced media diet. That's why I pay for the Washington Post and the LA Times, right?
So that's why you pay for a liberal paper and a liberal paper, because that's a balance? Is that what that is? Are you trying to tell me that the LA Times is a right wing, Brian? He's just the worst. Who greenlit his show? I mean, take away whether or not you find him to be the crap he talks about just annoying, right? Like I watch people all the time and I think, who said that was a good idea? Who thought, hey, this is a great idea? This guy, he's just, oh, look at him. He's like a magnet. People just want to watch him. No. Who greenlit that? But you're trying to tell me you're all about balance?
I want to hear the California perspective. I also want to know what's happening in Washington. And I love the way the Post is expanding globally to cover the whole world. I need all of that in my media diet. And we need in our own lives, in our own communities, to instill those same values. I think a lot of this is on the individual level, one-to-one, trying to help our friends and neighbors seek out real news.
Oh, so what you're telling me is as long as what you believe is solid and one-sided, you're just getting a different perspective on the same thing on the same side of the aisle. Meaning, I'm getting the liberal perspective from California and from D.C. Some people don't trust the media. What do you read, Chad? Let's see. Today I've read something from the New York Post. I've read probably a couple, 200-300 articles a day. Try to get through as many as possible. We're well prepared for. I've got articles and stuff that I want to talk about already on Mondays. We didn't have time because of all the stuff taking place today. But you think about it. I read everything from the Daily Kos to the Huffington Post to Breitbart to the Washington Post to the LA Times to the New York Times to Wall Street Journal to Forbes to AP. I want to know all from all perspectives, because what I figured out in life a long time ago is people like to tell a story. It's usually the story, though, that they want to tell, which isn't always the truth. And sometimes they're telling the truth, except for the part where they omit things, lies by omission. And we should have a healthy balance across the board. But people are tired of having to search. I mean, we're trying to figure out how to give out vaccines. I mean, short of coming to your house, which will be next, and doing it at McDonald's. Come to McDonald's. You can get a McVaccine. That's what they're doing in Sacramento. Come to McDonald's and get a McVaccine.
Take it anymore! Well, get over it. It's time to forge a new path with your very own political cartographer, Chad.
Let's get to work.
The Fast and Furious sequel F9, poised to have the biggest opening weekend since the start of the pandemic. Anticipation off the charts for the action flick, which many are hoping will really restart the box office. Helen Mirren co-stars. She tells me it's the perfect film to see in theaters.
Because part of it is the audience reaction, the shouts and the laughter and the talk back to the screen. And so it's a real sort of communal experience, and that's exactly how it should be.
F9 out today, only in theaters, no streaming.
Yeah, this is the one that's not getting the stream. This is it. They're calling it the blockbuster that's back. Think about it if you're Helen Mirren, right? You're a classically trained actress. You're one of these women that is truly a go-to when it comes to acting and just like her brilliance is undeniable. Right? I mean, you've won just about everything. You've won a BAFTA, which is essentially the Academy Award for the Brits, right? You've won a Lifetime Award. You've won a Primetime Emmy. You've won the Academy Awards. You've won all of these amazing things that you've done. You've done stage. You've done theater. You've done it all, and you're in action movies with Vin Diesel. Or you look at her, it's like you go through Royal Shakespeare Company, check. Oh, yeah. Broadway, check. The West End Royal Court Theater, check. These are like, National Theater, check. Real amazing movies. And now kids that go, oh my God, you're in F9, Hobbs and Shaw. I love it. 323-538-2423. It's should be a huge weekend. Should be. I mean, this is the first weekend where we're getting it. We're getting the full treatment. 4,000 theaters everywhere showing this. This is that weekend where you're going to have a sense that, okay, is it back? Is it back? 60 million is what they're saying. I'm going to throw it out there and say this thing's going to do about 100 million this weekend. Just me. Could be wrong. I think we're crying out for this, and I think people are going to show up in droves. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. Again, horrific situations and scenes coming out of Miami, the area over there, Surfside, where the building collapsed, and it's changing. They don't suspect foul play, but once again, how did this happen? Well, a professor thinks he has an idea.
A professor from Florida International University who actually studied this building in the 1990s. He said that he was shocked at what he found back then, that the building was basically slowly sinking into the earth. He believes that whatever caused it to collapse didn't start this year, but many years ago.
Yesterday started with 1 dead, 50 missing. Now we're up to 4 dead, which will be changing throughout the day and the weekend, and they're well over 150 plus missing. And don't be surprised if that number it gets revised up and down, and it's keeping track of it is. But you have to be thinking to yourself, if you are in buildings next to it, is my building safe? Is my building safe? Because we're built right next to it, so I don't know what they did different than those people there, but you bet your bottom dollar that every one of those people are asking questions today about how can I know that this thing isn't going to sink or fall or collapse? You don't. Today's the big day, by the way.
ABC News has learned that U.S. intelligence agencies have not reached a definitive explanation for the military's encounters with UAPs, and they have not found evidence to suggest that the UAPs are linked to alien spacecraft, nor are they in a position to explain what military pilots have reported over the years, and they have ruled out that they might be a secret government program.
So, not a secret government program, which is exactly what the government would say. Not aliens, but also not aliens. So what is it? They don't know. At the end of the day, they have no idea what it is. Could it be something from another dimension? It's possible. Could it be aliens? Of course it's possible. When people rule it out, no, I just don't think it's possible. No, especially other scientists, you realize it's just not possible. Because you're thinking as a human would think. Well, I'm thinking about the physics. Think about something else that would be far more advanced than us, would probably have ways around things that we just can't even fathom. Ugh. That's true. So while it's not going to be definitive, we know that. But let's just take away aliens and other dimensions. It would leave two things. Everybody's lying, or there's something out there. And if it's none of those other things and it's not us, then it's potentially our enemies. And if that's true, we should be absolutely terrified over what they can do comparatively to what we can do. Just throwing it out there. We'll leave you with this today, kids. Next time you go to Home Depot, check out the lumber aisle.
Here's a headline you don't often see. An alleged exorcism at a local home improvement store. Now, the exorcism in this case was allegedly for trees, and it took place in Dixon City at the Commerce Boulevard Home Depot. Dixon City police responded to a call of what they called bad behavior that was occurring in the lumber aisle. The police escorted the people out of the store without incident. No charges have been filed at this time.
May the power of wood compel you. May the power of wood compel you. Oh, my Lord. It takes all kinds, people. It does. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Have an amazing, safe, and blessed weekend. Be kind to each other. We're going to do it again next week, starting Monday. Lots of stuff to get to, for sure. And if those of you out there who are struggling with the heat, it'll get cool eventually, just not this weekend. Night, Jack.
This is the Chad Benson Show.